Hi, this is Jeff Sun, your instructor for Intro to GIS, Geography 1100. And right now what this video is going to be about, and probably one of the most important recordings I'll put up on the class site in Moodle, but I'm going to show you how to download and install the ArcGIS software that you're going to need on your computers. So that you can do everything we're going to do in class. A couple things about the software. You need at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. Obviously more RAM is better, but you're going to need at least 2. So that's probably the most important, well, one of the most important things. The other important thing is, unfortunately, if you're a Mac user, you're not going to be able to install this software on an Apple computer. If all you have is an Apple computer, you have a couple options. One is you could install, and I have seen people do this, you can install Windows. They call it a dual boot system, I believe. You can install Windows on your Mac, and then you can have a Windows environment where you can run the software. Or the other option is, if you're in Casper, you can come up here and use the computer lab in Gateway Building Room 210, and I'll point this out a lot during the semester, but the code into that classroom is 80512 pound. Again, that's Gateway on the second floor, room number 210. The code into the room is 80512 pound, and you're more than welcome to use those computers whenever there is not a class in there, and that room is open quite a bit. So but let's get started. Again, I'm going to show you how to install the ArcGIS software on your computers. So first thing you're going to need is an authorization code from Esri, and I'm going to be emailing everyone an authorization code. And this authorization code usually starts, it's a number, and you're going to need this number to install the software, and it usually starts with the letters EVA. Hopefully you can see this, but here's an example of what I'm talking about. Here's the authorization code that I'm going to be using in this video today. So again, there's that EVA number that you're going to use. So the first thing is you're going to open up a web browser, and I'm going to use Google Chrome, but you can use Internet Explorer or Firefox or whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to open up a new window here, and what you're going to do is you're going to go to this website. It's going to be esri, esri.com/student edition, and you're going to hit enter. So that's esri.com/student edition, and here's the web page. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to either need to click on I have an Esri account or I need to create an Esri account. Now most of you probably will not have an Esri account, so you're going to have to go in and fill out a bunch of stuff. You're going to have to give them your name, your address, your phone number. Don't worry, they don't call you or send you a bunch of stuff. It's just the information they need. And then make sure you write down the username and password that you use, because you're going to need that to install the software. I myself already have an Esri account, so I'm not going to go through that process. I feel pretty confident you guys can click on this link here and set up your own account. It doesn't take very much. But again, once you have that account, make sure you write down your username and password, as you're going to need that. So I'm going to click on I have an Esri account, which is what you will click on once you have your username and password. And well, I already clicked on, let me log out here. I already clicked on this previously. So let me click on I have an Esri account again. I'm going to type in my username and password just as you are going to do once you set up your account. Click sign in. And so here you are. It says activate your ArcGIS for desktop trial. Enter authorization number. So this is where you put in that EVA number that I'm going to email you. And I have an EVA number here that I'm going to use. So again, it's EVA. My particular number, again, your number is going to be different. It's going to be whatever number I send you in your email, but the number I'm going to use is EVA 25070. 8309. Now again, do not use this number in the video. Use the number that I gave you in the email. Okay. But I type my number in. I'm going to click Activate ArcGIS. It's going to ask you what version you want to have on your computer. Now you guys are going to, in the class, make sure this is an EVA number I'm going to give you for 10.3. The particular EVA number I'm using is for 10.2.2, so that's what I'm going to click on. But again, for you guys in the class, you're going to be using 10.3. It's not much different than 10.2.2, just some bug fixes. Everything looks the same. But again, click 10.3 for desktop when you guys do this. However, in this video, I'm going to be clicking 10.2.2. So that's what I'm going to click on. Let's see here. You can read through these instructions if you like. But what you're going to want to click on is ArcGIS for desktop. Okay, again, ArcGIS for desktop, and you're going to make sure the language you want is English, and you're going to click download. So I'm going to click download. So it gets you to a download manager, and you're going to click to download your file now. So I'm going to click that button. You can see it's downloading it here, 823 megabytes. Got a couple minutes left here. We'll see how fast this goes. I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording, and I'll come back when this download is over with. So when I catch you on the flip side here, this will be downloaded. So I'm going to pause it right now. Okay, I'm back now, and as you can see, it's you may look a little different if you're using Internet Explorer or Firefox, but if you're using Chrome like I am, down here at the bottom, the executable has been downloaded. What I like to do is click, let me move this up, I'm going to click Show All Downloads over here on the right. And I'm going to click on Show in Folder. And so here is my executable that I just got done downloading. Okay, so the way I like to do this, and there's several different ways you can do this, I like to right click on this. I'm going to copy it, click on my desktop, and I'm going to paste it to my desktop just so I know where it's at. Again, you don't have to do this. If you're comfortable with it being in the downloads folder, that's fine. I just like to take things that I'm using and put it on my desktop. So all I'm doing is copying and pasting that. I'm going to close my downloads window here. And I'm going to close, I'm going to close the Esri site. We don't need this anymore, so I'm going to close out. Don't need the ArcGIS desktop student trial website. I'm going to close that. And all we're left with here is my desktop. Okay, the executable is copied over. Here it is right here. Pretty simple. All I'm going to do is double click it. Do I want to run this executable? Yes, of course I do. So I'm going to click Run. Please select the destination folder where you want the files to be extracted to. I usually just accept the default. However, if you guys on your computer want this stored somewhere other than the line it gives you here, go ahead and hit Browse and you can change that. Otherwise, just accept the default. Click OK. So it's extracting the executable right now. And depending on how long this takes, I may pause the video again, but it looks like it's moving along pretty fast. So just keep following the instructions here. It's gonna launch the setup program once I click close, I think. Looks like it's doing something here. Preparing to install, that's what we want. It's going to go through and compute your space requirements on your computer. Strongly recommends you exit all Windows programs. Just make sure you close everything out except maybe for this video, obviously, that you're watching of me. Go ahead and click Next. You can read this license agreement if you want. I never do. I'm going to accept the license agreement. Click Next. I always do the complete installation, so make sure complete is checked and click Next. It's going to install ArcGIS. Again, for you it'll be 10.3, for me it's 10.2.2, and this is where it's going to install it. Click Next. Next through this Python folder, ready to install program, go ahead and click Install. Now this part is, sometimes it takes a long time. I've had students bring in their computers and the installation has taken upwards of a half an hour. So it's going to be running through its thing, and you may see this green line go clear over to the end, but it'll keep cycling through, and just let it keep doing its thing. Again, it may take a half hour or maybe even more, and I've seen it take quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording right now, and when it gets done doing its thing here, then I'll start it back up and I'll show you how to complete the installation of the software. So I'm going to pause the recording and I'll see you when it gets done going through its thing here. Again, this may take upwards of a half hour or maybe longer. So, alright, we'll see you when this gets done. Okay, so I'm back again, and actually the installation on my computer is finished, and it actually took me about it's about 20 minutes, I think, 30 minutes maybe, for this to happen. But when it finally did happen, obviously you'll hopefully get the window here that says ArcGIS for desktop is successfully installed. Click the Finish button to exit the installation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Click Finish. Okay, so here's the final part in getting the software up and going. You need to first select a product. Now this is pretty important here. The product you want is Advanced Arc Info Single Use. So make sure you click this button, Advanced Arc Info Single Use. Okay, and then you're going to go down here to where it says Authorize Now. So click that button, Authorize Now. And let's see here. I have installed my software and need to authorize it. Okay, yep, that's what we want, the first one. I've installed my software, need to authorize it, so that's already checked. Click Next. Hopefully you're hooked up to the internet. You need to be hooked up to the internet for this to happen. Obviously you are, since we got online and got your username and password, but we want to authorize with Esri now using the internet. Okay, and this is a little time consuming, but again, you do need to put in your name and address and all that kind of stuff. And now I would encourage you to put your home address in, because once you install this, and in a few weeks you'll get, Esri sends out a pretty useful magazine and user guide. It comes out once a month, and it'll come to your home address, and it just tells you what Esri's doing, some cool projects that people are doing using GIS and using the ArcGIS software. So I'd encourage you to put in your home address here. If you don't want to put in your home address, you can certainly put in the college address, which you'll see here in a second. But again, they don't call you or send you a lot of stuff other than this user magazine that comes out once a month, which I think is pretty useful. So again, I would encourage you to put your home address in here. So I'm going to put in my info. Again, you will put in your own name and everything. Organization, they do require an organization. You can just put Casper College here. For the address, or I'm going to put in a department, so this is GIS department. Obviously, you don't have to put anything in for that. The address here that I'm going to put in is 125 College Drive, and my office number GW116G, Gateway 116G. Again, I would encourage you to put your own address in here. City, Casper, obviously. State, Wyoming. The zip. Location, this is obviously United States. Phone number, I'm going to put in my office number again. Put in your own phone number here. Don't worry, Esri will not be calling you. Okay. And put in my email. Type that in again. So I filled all this out. Click next. You need to choose some categories that you're in, your organization. I'm going to put education staff, faculty. You will need to put in education student. Okay. Industry, I'm going to do higher education. You'll do the same. Yourself, I'm going to do, let's see, what do they have here? Educator, you will choose student. Okay. I'm going to do educator, but for you, you will put in student. Click next. And this is where, again, you put in that EVA number again that I sent you in the email. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, and my number is EVA 250708309. Let me double check that here. EVA 250708309. Okay, again, you will put in the EVA number that I sent you and gave you in the email in Moodle. Okay, do not put this number in. Put in the EVA number that I gave you. Now, before I click next here, I'm going to type this number in. I'm going to highlight it. You don't have to do this, but in a minute you'll see why I'm doing this. This will make it easier. Again, you don't have to do this part, but I'm going to highlight my number. I'm going to right-click on it and say copy. So I just copied this number to my desktop. I'm going to click next. Now there's some what they call extensions that come with the software, and you guys in the class are going to want to do this. Okay. There's two extensions that we're going to use quite a bit in this class: 3D Analyst and Spatial Analyst. You can actually, so we're going to put the authorization number next to these two for sure. You can do it to all of them if you want, but for sure you need to put that authorization number next to 3D Analyst and Spatial Analyst. So I'm going to check this box. I have authorization numbers to authorize one or more extensions. I'm going to click here, and since I copied that number in the previous step, I'm just going to hit Control V on my keyboard, and you can see it pastes that number in there. If you didn't do the previous step, if you didn't copy that number, you would have to type that number in every time. This just makes it easier. I can hit Control V on all of this, and since I did that, I'm going to go ahead and authorize all of these extensions here. But again, for sure you're going to want to do 3D Analyst and Spatial Analyst. So again, I'm going to go through here. I'm hitting Control V next to all of these. I'm going to authorize all of these extensions. Again, the ones we're going to use a lot are 3D Analyst and Spatial Analyst, but I'm just going to go ahead. Who knows? Maybe I'll use some of these in the future. Okay. There's the EVA number next to all the extensions. I'm going to click Next, and now it's authorizing the software. Sometimes this step can take a little while. Shouldn't take too long, but hopefully what you'll get is what I'm getting here on my screen. Congratulations, your software has been authorized and is now ready for use. So that's good. That's what we want. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. This administrator window pops up. You can just go ahead and click OK, and that'll close it. And now the software is installed on your machine. Now what I'm going to do, it hasn't installed it yet on the desktop, or it hasn't put any icons yet on the desktop. You can move this exe file that we downloaded earlier to, you don't need that anymore. You can move it to your recycle bin. You can get it off your desktop. And now where the program is if you hit the Start button down here in the corner. So Start. Again, I'm using the old Windows. If you're using Windows 8 or whatever, you'll need to go to wherever your programs get installed to. But I'm going to hit my Start button, All Programs. You can see here's an ArcGIS folder that has been just newly installed. And here's all of the different programs inside of ArcGIS that you can use. Okay, the ones you're going to be using the most is ArcMap and ArcCatalog. So what I like to do is I like to take ArcMap here, hold down my left mouse button, and just drag it to my desktop. Just makes a shortcut to your desktop since I'm going to be using that the most. I'm going to click Start again, go to All Programs, go to ArcGIS, and I'm going to drag Catalog to my desktop. Okay. So there we are. The software is set up, and just to test it, make sure it's ready to go, let's go ahead. We can double click ArcMap. And it seems like when you download the software for the first time, sometimes it can take a long time to open up the first time. But here we go. ArcMap is opening, initializing the application. Now it's loading the document. So here, hopefully in a few minutes, it'll open up. So let's give it some time here. Okay, yep, ArcMap is opening. Close out this Getting Started window, and you are ready to use the software and ready to follow the next video and start in on the first lap. Again, hopefully this video was helpful and to show you how to get the software downloaded. If you have any questions or any issues with your computer or the software, make sure you get a hold of me, email me, call me, come in and see me if you're here in town, and we'll get the issues worked out. Obviously, if you're here in town and you have a laptop and you're having issues, bring the laptop in and I'll help you. If you have a desktop, obviously it's harder to bring that in, but we can certainly get online or talk on the phone, and we can work out whatever the issues are. So again, if you have any questions, get a hold of me. Hopefully this video was helpful, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks.